Yes, and welcome to the GameFace Footy Show for the SFNL Division 1. We're doing it live down here, live for the very first time for the SFNL at the East Malvern brand new rooms. It's absolutely fantastic. If I got to kick it off and just say, these new rooms here, and I'll introduce the panel in a second, are absolutely mint. They are celebrating 100 years. 100 years, not in this particular league, but definitely playing football out of this ground in this area, East Malvern. It's a big time. It's a special time for this football club at the moment. The Panthers, of course, are doing okay this year. Middle of the road. They're doing okay. This weekend they're going to get a win, and then they're going to go out and get smashed. I'm going to talk to this bloke in a minute about how he's going to get that done. I've already started. I'm on the Melbourne Bitters down here, because that's what you do, boys. When you go to a footy club, the first thing you do is buy a beer from the bar, don't you, Lockers? You know all about that,
100%.
mate.
100%. Got to have a beer and got to join in with the festivities.
I'll introduce you, Lockers, because you know this place pretty well, East Malvern. You coached here for a while back. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, coached here for a couple of years.
Ruined the place, apparently.
Ruined the place. As soon as I left, they built these rooms so they could afford to build them after I left. So.
And, of course, my man over there, Will Hunter, he's set everything up here. There's been a bit of a setup, actually, so he's burned a lot of calories setting this up. I'm happy about that. How you feeling, Will?
Yeah, pretty good. I need to burn a couple of calories, let's be honest, but I'm about to put them right back into these Melbourne Bitters. But, 100% right. These rooms are pretty schmick and, impressive setup.
Yes, and we might all together go over there in a little bit because the boys have started to filter in after a training session out there on the park, getting ready for this weekend's game, which we'll rip into in a minute. We'll dissect that one. They've started to get their dinner over there. Looks like a bit of a Palmer and chips job that's usually typical of football clubs. Is it healthy or not? Have we had a look yet?
It's not too bad.
Not too bad. They do a good job here. The brand new kitchen hasn't got any bloody fat or anything on the overhead extractors. It's all brand new because it looks great. Some top stories for you right off the top. Rick Bean out, Matt Hoy in, the 25-year-old first up win as a coach, and you're going to talk about that because that's pretty tumultuous stuff around here, but it hasn't hurt the club too much because they got a win. Terrific debuts for Kelso and Bowie. Bentley upset Port to jump into the top 5. McCarthy injured as Dogs topple ladder leaders and Will's tribunal wrap. We'll get to that in a minute. Let's talk about Rick Bean out and Matt Hoy in, Lockers. What's the story there? Because anytime a coach he wasn't exactly... hog-tied out of here. He wasn't marched out, but certainly...
No, apparently it was a mutual decision, as it always is. A little bit, like it always happens.
That's boring.
I'm not sure it was quite mutual. They had a meeting, I think it came out Tuesday a week ago, that Rick was out. Matty Hoy took over, as I said, 25-year-old non-playing coach.
Yep.
Great effort. I've actually known Matty since he was about 15. Really good kid, loves his footy. Got last year's coach back as well, Richard Houston, to help him on the bench. So Richard's got his burger bar in St Kilda and now back also as an assistant coach. So, yeah, great win for them first up, absolutely.
Good stuff, and we'll talk to the playing coach, Nathan Robertson, in a little bit. We've got a couple of co-captains that we'd like to talk to. Will, this man next to me, Jack Hammond, he's our first guest, thanks to Petter's suspension. We've got to talk about the game that happened on the weekend. Got a bit of a win on the weekend, mate. Feeling pretty good around here?
Yeah, win was good. It was good to get on the winners list after Charlotte the week before, which was a bit disappointing. We kind of didn't put 4 quarters together, so it was good to build into a bit of form.
You're sort of going middle of the road at the moment. What is it, 4 and 4 or 4 and 5? 4 and 4, 5th on the ladder. Be happy enough with that. I don't know if you take it at the start of the season, but that gives you a bit of a setup as you run into September action, don't you?
Yeah, we're lucky, I suppose, in the fact that the competition's so even at the moment. But, yeah, we definitely haven't had the start we wanted. Last year, we were runners-up, obviously. We seemed to retain the core group of our players, lost a few, turned over a few, thought we got a little bit better depth. So we did expect to push again, so we probably haven't had the start we wanted. But we are confident that our best footy is good. It's just about stringing those quarters together.
Absolutely.
Obviously, a welcome return to form on the weekend, and a big game coming up against Bentley. They're sitting 4th. You want that spot. Massive game, and how are you approaching it?
Yeah, it is a massive game. I think so. We're neck and neck on the ladder. I think they're one above us. Look, we've just come into this week, like just as always, kept it pretty simple. Tuesday night was pretty big night on the track, and then tonight we just kind of honed on our skills, and we're all ready to go. I think we'll be pretty aggressive on the weekend and ready to take it to them.
You've got to win this weekend, mate, because it sets up a magnificent night ahead. And you know as well as I do, you play hard together, you party hard together as a football club. 100 years celebrating. And this jumper right here, let's highlight this for a second. This is you don't wear this every week, just for the people that don't know, because I'm sure there's people out there that don't know. You don't wear that all the time. That's celebrating the 100 years there. The long sleeve. Do you wear a long sleeve?
I don't. That's actually Nick Barry's other captain wears the long sleeve.
Well, you know what they say about blokes who wear long sleeve. You know, we'll leave that alone. It's going to be a great night in the rooms anyway, Lockers. They're celebrating 100 years. They recently did a team of the century. There's some notable players in that team. Trent Houghton,
one
of those guys.
Yeah, Hot Dogs. He'll be here Saturday night, and no doubt he'll almost have 100 beers. Trent, he's very good at that part of the game as well. So he's good on and off the ground.
Used to have some really rancid nights with him down at the tunnel back in the day. You wouldn't know where the tunnel is. King Street, it's not there anymore.
Probably for good reason.
Robbo, Jack's not bad himself.
Can go?
Absolutely. That little cheeky smile doesn't give away much. Jack's very, very good.
But exciting stuff going on around this football club at the moment, mate, and you'd well know.
Yeah, unreal. These rooms are sensational, as we've said. The change room facilities for even the away team's good now. It used to be horrendous. Used to be rat infested, water infested, terrible. So yeah, this place is going places. They're just going to get some results on the board, which I know they're all working hard to do.
Must be loving it, huh, mate?
One question for you, Jack.
Yeah.
You took the coach's number this year. How'd that go down?
Wow.
Well,
Liam Sumner actually wanted 17, which I wore last year.
Right.
So Robbo kind of did a deal with him, said he was happy to take 23, I think he wears now. I slipped down to 3, and Liam got his 17, so...
You got promoted.
Yeah.
Part of the family.
I wasn't that fast, but happy to take 3.
Well done, well done.
It's a nice light number. That's what you want on the back.
Yeah.
You don't want the heavy numbers at all. Mate, some of the players around here, give us some of the names. The boys doing some nice stuff out in the park at the moment.
Mackenzie Bristow's been one of our notable players this year. Was lucky enough to play Vic Metro, where he did well. He's a good mate of mine, first year at the club. Who else? We got...
It's your chance to give them a pump up, mate. This is going
live.
They can watch it later, so they're going to critique everything you say.
Ben Timms was back into a bit of form on the weekend, which was good. Down back, bit of a general, taking a few marks, using the ball well.
Yeah. And this is live, boys. You can tell it's live because we've got the cricket on over there on the... how good is the TV screen? Well, it's not a TV. It's one of those
TV.
It's one of those drop-down numbers over there, and it's crystal clear. Australia batting at the moment. Won the toss against Bangladesh. No wickets for 29 at the moment. Finchy getting it done nicely. He's hit form at the right time, Will. That's what we want to see.
Exactly what you want to see. Exactly what you want to see.
Well,
Very important
You're
player.
a cricket man. You've got the cricketer physique. You know, you play indoor cricket. You've got the indoor cricketer's physique. Give me a...
Your typical 4th, 5th, 11 military medium, bloody lower order plotter.
You do it well, mate. We love you for it. Let's talk about the other results from the weekend. St Paul's defeated Cheltenham. That was an absolute corker. We were looking forward to that game. I'm not sure who you boys tipped in that one. We can talk about that later on as we get into the competition that you two have. That involves beer. Drink responsibly. 8-7-55. Cheltenham got done. 6-9-45. St Paul's just rolling on, having another good season. They are a good club, aren't they, Lockers?
They are a very good club, very professional. Thank God I picked them for the flag. Well, I shouldn't say that in here, but I think I did at the start of the year.
So you're getting out of here alive?
Yeah.
Have you said that?
Yeah.
Oh, because you guys still love him down here.
Oh, not right.
Definitely.
Don't know about that.
Well, Cheltenham would be a bit disappointed about that, wouldn't they? I mean, they sort of bullish about their form, and I'm not sure if you've played against both teams yet.
Yeah,
but,
we have. Yeah.
Both very good sides. Cheltenham, I know, and I've said this many times on the GameFace Footy shows, that they were very, very bullish about their season ahead. They were looking forward to some September action, but they knew they were going to be up against it with the likes of St Paul's. What are both teams like out there in the park, mate? How do they play?
Yeah, very good. They would be the clear standouts for that we've played against, the two best sides at the moment, I'd say. Cheltenham, we actually got off to a pretty good start, but to their credit, they really stuck, gritted their teeth, grinded, and once they got their game going, they were really hard to stop.
Yeah.
And St Paul's, similar to last year, I know they've lost a few players, but they're still a class act.
Yeah, well, you don't lose that culture. You don't lose that culture straight away, do you? And Cheltenham, we know they've had a few injuries along the way. Oakley Districts 12-9-81, defeated by Dingley. We thought that would happen. 17-10-112. East Melbourne 12-13-85, defeated Hyatt 6-5-41. Hyatt go to the bottom of the ladder, which is good to see. Port Colts 11-5-71, defeated by Bentley. 16-8-104, and St Kilda City 13-15-93 defeat Mordialloc 10-10-70. Will, anything to add?
Well,
any of those games?
Well, of course, a very important first-up win for Matty Hoy, as you spoke of off the top. 6 goals to Ed Green, brother of the GWS star Toby, had a nice game. And, of course, Jed Lamb kicked 6 for Bentley in their big win over the Colts. So, who knows, maybe we might see those two fellas in the team of the week later on in the show.
Absolutely. We've got to talk to our guest a little bit more, mate. Looking out there as the boys enjoy a nice parmigiana and chips or whatever it is over there, who's the best drinker out of these guys over here? Who really sidles up to the bar, settles in and gets the job done till probably 4 in the morning?
My co-captain does all right, Nick Barry. Bit of a quiet achiever, but he always seems to be there at the end of the night.
We don't want to know the best, Jack, the worst.
Who's the
Who's
worst? That was my next question, because we
outside
want to
the president,
throw him under the bus, mate, because this is what we love to hear.
Probably a new bloke at the club, Tugger.
Tugger.
Been playing in the seconds. He's pretty ordinary.
Something about these Resi's footballer, boys.
All right.
What about the Prez? I think he's in Russia at the minute, isn't he?
Oh,
Stump?
yeah, I'm not sure.
He's not
It
great.
was when I rang him the other
He's
day.
not the best.
He's not a great drinker, is he?
Robbo's not that great.
The coach.
Coach
put
isn't
him
that
in.
great.
Yeah, he can have some bad days.
Well, maybe we should come back and critique the night itself, who performed pretty well
Yeah,
off
that's
the
a good
track.
idea.
We might do that, actually. We're talking, of course, to Jack Hammond, superstar down here at the East Malvern Football Club. A lot of good things going on down at this football club at the moment. Brand new club room, celebrating 100 years of football. Let's talk about a coaching situation that we talked about off the top, and I'm going to get you to... St Kilda City parted way with senior coach Rick the Flick Bean after filming our show last week. Got flicked. Under 19 coach Matt Hoy took the reins, recorded first up win. Let's talk about the game itself. St Kilda City 13-15-93. Defeated Morty Alec 10-10-70.
Positive for Morty straight off the bat was they actually scored. They've really struggled to score more than 3 or 4 goals a week. So to kick 10 for them is a good sign. But yeah, great result from St Kilda City to bounce back. Week of adversity. There was a big thing on Facebook from their president, Rod Gambling, talking about the coaching change and the fact the players had to put their hand in their pocket and pay their subs, or he was going to make selection changes and so on. So pretty tumultuous. To come back and win. I know one thing, the players really like and respect Matty Hoy as a fella, so that's clearly worked. As I said off the top, getting Richard Houston back as an assistant coach, helping off the ground. Probably one thing I'll say about Matty Hoy, he'll let them play footy. Rick Beam's a very structured coach, which has its place, no doubt, for certain clubs. I think St Kilda City over the years are one of those clubs that just like to go out and play a little bit free-spirited. So I just think the players will be enjoying that. And, yeah, they got the result Saturday, so very good for them.
When you've got the depth of talent that St Kilda City does have on its list, I mean, we speak of Ed Green kicking 6 goals, and, of course, Ralph Clark as well, who's been good in patches, and Aaron Purvis as well was in the best that day as well. You know, the key thing, I think, was the previous week, you know, they dominated possession and still managed to bottle the game. But, you know, as you said, having Hoy come in and, you know, allowing them to play that free-spirited brand of footy and just getting the players to play certainly helped them in the long run. What do you think, Hammond?
Yeah, I agree. I know Matt Hoy pretty well, and as you said before, they're quite a young team, quite quick. So I think Matty Hoy coming in, letting them play their style of footy, let him play a bit on instinct, I think that really helped those younger kids and their speed come in, and yeah, seems to be paying dividends for them.
You're an ex-player of St Kilda City, Jack?
Yeah,
I've 2 games?
A few games at St Kilda City. I think I might have got 4 in.
4?
Yeah.
Wow, excellent.
4, they'd almost get you in the team of the century, wouldn't it? They were 4 quality games.
I don't know about that.
4 quality games. Jack Hammond, the captain of this club. Mate, I'd ask you, how important is that coaching position? Obviously, we know that a coach is the be-all and end-all, but in terms of setting up a culture of a football club, no longer is it just come and put the X's and O's out there and the magnet board, flicking them around. You really got to set things up in the back office, don't you?
Yeah, I agree.
What's it like around here?
Yeah, it's been good. So, Robbo, obviously a playing coach, quite young. I think that's been really good for our group. He's like, everyone seems to love him. He gets along with everyone. So, I think even before, the year before he was coach, when Lockers was here, he was captain. And I think everyone warmed to him then too. And he, from being captain, he kind of just flowed in as being coach. And yeah, kept his good relationships with most of the playing group, which has really helped.
What are the sort of similarities and differences, I guess, between obviously the man to our left and Robbo now?
They're actually quite similar. So Robbo and Lockers are quite good mates. We've known each other for quite a while. So there's a lot of similarities in the way they coach. They're very structured pre-game.
Yep.
in their messages they want to get across, and looking at key players and things like that. So that's some of the things that they're very similar at doing.
Let's move on to a bit of a Hyatt wrap, and Will, you can talk through this in a minute. But you played Hyatt on the weekend. You got over them pretty well. How did you find them? They're not. I guess assimilating too well to Division 1 footy at the moment. They lost a few players after their premiership year in Division 2. Come up and finding they're going a bit tough.
Yeah, they definitely are. The first quarter they were really good. They definitely matched us, especially on the inside. They had a lot of hard-nosed players that were first in for the footy, so we really had our work cut out for us, especially in that first quarter and to some extent the first half. They probably just lacked a little bit on the outside. Once they got it out, they either didn't use it that well or turned it over, but they really had a good inside patrol, which was good.
I guess one of the key detriments for Haight this year has been their injury list. They've lost quite a few good players. We've got a couple of names here: Yanni Pasialis, Jordan Thompson, Jack Prosser, Dylan Garbanui. They'll miss most of the remainder of the season through various ailments, shoulders, Achilles, broken collarbones, stuff. Macklin Rain, he's also missed a couple of weeks as well, and he's been a massive super pickup for him as well. But on the flip side, they had a young debutant on the weekend, Jake Bowie. Little red-headed kid, played on the wing, won plenty of the footy. I know Bowie reasonably well. Plays golf, Elstonwick Golf Club with his old man, Brett. Playing some good footy as well for Sandy Dragons in the, I think it's the NAB League now it is. Bottom major, real good draft chance. And, of course, his old man played 85 games for the Saints Lockers.
He did, and actually celebrated his 50th birthday Saturday night. So young Jack's played his first senior game and then probably had a couple of stubbies with his old man after the game.
I'm sure he did.
Only 16 years old too, he's the young fella, so
he's not allowed to drink.
plenty to like there.
Drink responsibly, like we always
Right,
say.
and of course, happy birthday to you too, Bowser.
We'll move on to the next game. We've got to get Jack Hammond go and have his meal. It's over there in the Bay Marie under the warming lights. Jeez, it's a nice looking kitchen. Yeah, some of the boys are probably eyeing it off. But we'll let you go in a second, mate. One more game to critique, and we'll go to a break. It was the Cheltenham game. It was an absolute corker, of course. You like those games where they're up at the top of the ladder and they're playing each other. It sort of gives us an idea where clubs are at and what it's going to look like come September. We know that again, September is its own beast. But Kelso, solid debut for Cheltenham, Will.
Yeah, I thought he was reasonably impressive. He's still a little bit raw. He's been out of the game for a couple of years, Charlie Kelso, but he's played a fair bit of VFL footy at Sandringham and Port Melbourne, I believe. He is an enormous unit, an absolutely enormous unit. He's
207 centimetres, Will.
As big a bloke as I've seen in this competition. There's not a lot of him from a weight perspective. I mean, he's a bit of a beanpole, but he was enormous in the ruck, and he was blowing a bit sort of towards the end of the game, as you could probably imagine, spending a bit of time out of the game. But he'll get a lot better once his fitness improves, I think, and definitely some player to watch out for in the back half of the year.
Yeah, absolutely, no doubt. He'll be good for them. They probably needed a ruckman. They can then put McLaren back to centre forward. And as Jack knows, McLaren played quite well last week, so against East Melbourne. So yeah, look, my opinion hasn't changed at Shell. They're around the mark. They've got another big game this week. When you're winning and when you're actually favoured to win each week, it gets harder. So no doubt the Chelt guys are going to have to adjust to that. Being the underdogs for probably the last 4 or 5 years, it's an easier way to come into a game, a bit more relaxed. So now is the target, not so much chasing. They might find it tough, but I think they're still going to be around the mark.
He's got to be certainly a massive, influence for that side. And he was up against Nick Halliday, who's probably undersized for ruckman. But he's still to face a really, really big test in, of course, Chris Carey, who, in my opinion, best ruckman in the comp by a long, long way. Will set up an interesting battle. How have you seen his form, Tux, so far throughout the season?
Yeah, he's been really good for us. He's continued his form from last year. He's so consistent. I think what he puts in every week, you know what you're going to get from him. He really thinks about his game and changes it up. When things aren't working, he really knows his game inside out, which helps him, I suppose, keep that consistency.
Yeah.
Doesn't play a bad game.
Who's that?
There you go, Chris Carey.
I thought you were talking about me. Tap
There
me
it
on
is.
the shoulder.
There it is.
There it is.
We are doing it. It doesn't take long to talk about myself. Hey, we are doing it live down here from DW Lucas Reserve, East Malvern, celebrating 100 years of playing football, and they're going to do it really, really well this week when they play football, and they follow it up with a big function here in their brand new club rooms. It is absolutely exceptional in here. We have been so lucky to have Jack Hammond, the co-captain of this football club, to sit with us for the last 10-15 minutes, as he's probably sacrificed a nice fresh meal. It's got a little bit cold over there. Well, I'm sorry about that, Jack.
It's still hot.
It'll sure be warm over there. I can see the people in the staff behind the bar there. They've kept it warm for you. We will let you go, mate. We wish you all the best this weekend and keep this football club going that way. We want to see you in that September action and doing well. Of course, it was a great year last year. You just want to go one better this year.
Thanks very much.
Good on you, mate. Have a great night.
Jack.
We'll take a break and we'll be back very, very shortly with the GameFace Footy Show, doing it live. SFNL Division 1, East Malvern. What a club.
Hey guys, Plugger from...
Great, mate. Thanks so much for that.
Thanks, boys.
You actually speak all right.
Puffer vests, long sleeve tees, the whole works. Get your game face on.
We are highly competitive in all areas of banking activity. We've given back over 1,350,000 to community organisations.
We give 80% of our profits back to the community.
So why don't you come and join us, and together let's make a difference.
What, how, why, who? It all begins with you.
My name is Ross McFarlane and I'm the speaker for JLF Corporation's 7 Steps program. 7-Step program is basically built on taking your time to build a portfolio of properties with a focus on cash flow and compound growth. So what we're looking for is really anyone over 18 that wants to educate themselves, so when they're ready to go ahead, they've already got the knowledge there.
MelSafe is a leading provider of certification, audit and compliance services, specialising in safety, quality, environmental and chain of custody standards. We offer a professional service that provides you with assurance that your processes comply with relevant requirements. Visit our website to see how we can help you meet or maintain best practice for your compliance or certification needs.
Hey guys, Plugger from GameFace here. GameFace is really excited to introduce our new official apparel partner for 2019 and 2020, Swiv's Locker.
Yeah, Plugger, we've got a whole range of winter warmers, jackets, hoodies, polo shirts, puffer vests, long sleeve tees, the whole works. Get your game face on.
We are highly competitive in all areas of banking activity. We've given back over 1,350,000 to community organisations.
We give 80% of our profits back to the community.
So why don't you come and join us, and together let's make a difference.
What, how, why, who? It all begins with you.
My name is Ross McFarlane and I'm the speaker for JLF Corporation.
And we are back with the GameFace Footy Show, doing it live here from the East Malvern Football Club, a brand new club rooms here at DW Reserve. It is fantastic, DW Lucas Reserve in East Malvern. I tell you what, it smells fresh in here. It's just been built. The boys are absolutely loving it over there, having their meals and watching the cricket. We're now none for 46.
Warner and Finchy just motoring along.
Motoring along, a bit scratchy though, Warner. He's just not smashing it like he used to. I'm not happy about that. I just want to see him go out there and belt the absolute living bejesus out of it. But anyway,
bowler's wicket though. I mean, it is in England, so I'm surprised it's not really raining.
Yes, this is from the in-house cricketer. He looks like a cricketer. He talks like a cricketer.
Drinks like a cricketer.
drinks like a king. We have another guest on our panel, and it is the playing coach, another Robbo.
Yes.
It's a great nickname, very Australian. This is of the Nathan Robinson dispersion. He's a fantastic playing coach, and thanks for joining us, mate. How was your meal?
Geez, it wasn't too bad. I was a bit worried early on when I saw just you boys up here in no committee, and it was about 6:30, but they've scrapped together some red roosters, so it wasn't too bad in the end. But yeah, a bit light on at the moment with no kitchen. So
right, bit of red rooter. Just keep it hot under the Bay Marie's there. Listen, we're going to talk everything about your football club, mate, because you are the playing coach, and I know how difficult that is because I have done that myself. It's hard to ring those changes when you're concentrating on getting the ball. I'm going to ask you how you get that done. I've decided to don the 100-year celebratory jumper. This isn't what they wear now, but it's...
no, that's the one we'll be wearing on Saturday, and then obviously the jumpers will be getting auctioned off after the game. So
absolutely fantastic.
The old Taronga Malvern insignia on the left breast.
I reckon it's absolutely ripping. I don't know about the long sleeves. I never wore a long sleeve. You wear a long sleeve?
No, I don't, mate.
Thank God for that.
You're from Tassie. You should have worn a long
I'm
sleeve.
I worry about a bloke that wears long sleeve. We'll move on from that because we do need to get into the next segment, which is the Petters suspension update. Well done, Will Hunter, on putting that one together, the sponsor, with something quite pertinent. The Petters suspension update. And I'm going to go to you, Ben Lockwood, because you've got quite a bit here in front of you. Why don't you talk us through this?
Right, first of all, before I go through the actual suspensions, what I'm going to say to clubs out there, the blokes that watch the video on Sunday and dob other clubs in for minor misdemeanours, stop doing it.
Yeah. You're
wasting everyone's time. The MRP is for the old-fashioned king hit, the old-fashioned snipe, the dirty stuff. Not the Tiggy Touchwood stuff. Stop it. Be good friends, be good corporate citizens, be whatever you like, but be proper footy clubs. Stop this dobbing of everyone in.
We should be looking after each other. I think that's an absolute given. If you're doing that sort of stuff, you need to be deported or something like that. It's so un-Australian, isn't it? Collusion is what we do.
Out of my mouth.
Go on, Ben. Talk us through this here, mate.
Just has to stop. Kalal Kandaji, cited by the MRP for careless striking. How do you carelessly strike someone?
An accidental arm back.
Accidentally punched him.
Now, Cyril's about 3'2", and Christian Fiend's about 6'6", so he must have hit him in the kneecap. He got reprimanded.
Long arms.
He got reprimanded. Xavier Litton, East Malvern, cited for officially umpire.
Cited by the officiating umpire for engaging in other act of misconduct or serious misconduct.
Now, is it misconduct or serious misconduct?
Either. That's the
what is it?
It's the official word out of the SFNL from this afternoon.
Well, he took a week, so he must have done something very bad. And back to last week, Chris DeLuca, who got 4 weeks originally, took it to appeal and has brought it back down to 2 weeks. That was for a sling tackle against Tom Brown from Hyatt 2 weeks ago. Looking at the vision of that, it was probably worth a couple of weeks. I know he'd been in trouble earlier in the year with a sling tackle from actually one of the East Malvern guys, Mark Terrell, who I know is still suffering from a little bit of concussion. So that's probably fair enough. Sling tackles, we don't want them in the game, but it's that Tiggy Touchwood stuff that just keeps coming up, makes it a really long Tuesday night in at headquarters if clubs keep dobbing each other in. So
I thought two was probably fair for that. 4 maybe a little bit excessive, but I think at the end of the day, the MRP got that right.
We're doing it live here at the East Malvern, brand new club rooms. It looks absolutely fantastic, and we're lucky enough to be sat next to the playing coach of the club, Nathan Robinson. Robbo, how's things going for you, mate? Have you seen the season so far? Obviously, middle of the road there. You'd like to be a little bit further ahead, but not too bad.
Yeah, look, it's been a frustrating one, to be honest. You guys have probably paid much attention to the results. Like, our best is, in my opinion, probably, if not the best, if not better. But our bad at the moment is pretty bad.
Yeah.
And it's about probably bridging the gap between the two. And we've just had phases in games where we've just totally been obliterated and just haven't, responded well enough. So it is frustrating because we've lost 3 or 4 games by a total of 30 points. And you win those games and we're probably top of the ladder and we're not. So it's frustrating, and the boys know that it's about probably just grinding a bit, until we get a bit more form, and then hopefully back after the year we get a couple more guys back and things start rolling. just hopefully still aim for a top 3. We're lucky that it's close at the moment, and it's tight at the top, so it's giving us more of an opportunity to still get a double chance.
Incredibly frustrating. I remember that from my playing days where things aren't quite going well and you just can't put a finger on it. Hang on, what you said there, our best is right up there with the ladder leaders, and we just aren't putting it together. How do you bottle that sort of stuff? Now, I've seen you training out here tonight. I mean, do you go hard on the boys, or do you just sort of, relax, boys, it's all just going to come? It's hard to know what to do, isn't it, as a coach?
Yeah, it is. Like, I don't know, probably when I first started playing footy, it was, you could cop those sprays, but guys don't really react well to that kind of criticism these days. So it's about a happy medium, Like, probably a few of the games I've been disappointed in, but against Cheltenham after we lost, I was incredibly shattered at the result, and also the effort, and I actually questioned the effort and the desire of the guys. And that's the first time I've probably done that in the 2 years I've been here as a coach. And you don't want to do that. That's one thing you don't want to do. So we had a bit of soul searching that week, and just sort of went through a few things, and addressed each player individually and sort of said, look, there's a lot of guys out of form. What are we going to need to do to get you guys to click and work together? Because at the moment, there's a few individual acts that are helping us along, but it's not cohesive, and that's what we need to get to.
Sorry, you go, mate.
No, you go. All right. It's a difficult thing to do, sort of managing a side while you're playing as well. You've obviously got a good team of assistants off the field that sort of help you along, but how much have you learnt from this man to my left? I mean, you've played under him. He's taken you under his wing. What have you learnt from the great man?
You learn a lot about what not to do.
No, not at all.
Exactly.
No, I learned a lot off Benny. And to be honest with you, I never really thought about the prospect of coaching until I actually came and played with him. And obviously the desire became more apparent as playing under him. And like just his ability to learn to read the game, his assessment of other players and structures and these sorts of things, Not a lot of time you pay attention, and obviously I paid attention to what he had to say, and a lot of that still feeds through today. So,
one real positive, Robbo, this year, no doubt. Obviously coached here a couple of years, and I think it's been a big issue of East Malvern is the seconds.
Yep.
Seconds are on top of the ladder, they're flying, so depth's obviously fantastic this year, no doubt.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, look, you can even see, we used to have a country club that trained with us, so at times when you'd see our numbers on the track in the last 2 or 3 years, it'd be probably not really show the real aspect of, we only had probably 20 guys on the track that were actually training, whereas we consistently every week have 40 now, and tonight we had 50, and look, it's not the greatest weather, but, there's guys here, and there's actually competition for spots. There's guys missing out of the twos at the moment, and that's, we're getting guys, and we're able to pick guys back in the seniors if guys aren't performing, and that's what you want. If you don't have depth in your reserves, you're not going to be consistently good in these sort of months when you've got injuries. Guys, unfortunately, go away and choose holidays in the wrong time of the year, but that's all part of footy.
The biggest quandary for most football clubs, I think, and anyone can answer this, but I'll go to you, Robbo, first, is, building that culture versus getting gun players in for a year or two, and how much do you go out there and throw money around? Or is it actually like, I suppose, what the Sydney Swans trailblazed when Roosie went and won those premierships with them, making it a place where players want to be? Now, I'm sure the latter would be for you as the captain here. You want to make this a place that's comfortable for your players, but how much have you got your eye out there going, okay, I need to get some good players in as well?
Look, it's always about, you've always got to recruit, because if you don't recruit and you pick guys in and you find weaknesses in your game, you're going to fall behind because everyone's doing the same thing. Obviously, with the salary cap and the points and these sorts of things, it sort of has disintegrated the amount of club hopping that players can actually do. But when you recruit a player, I think it should be for longevity. You shouldn't be just going for 1 year. Like, you want to build a culture, and if you want to have sustained success, you've got to have people around for 2, 3 and 4 years. And that's when you get them down to their 1-point players, and that's when they're the most valuable, because you've got a guy who's, for instance, obviously not this year, but Luke Duffy is a star. He's a 1-point player, and he's in the top probably 5 to 10 players in the league.
Yeah.
For us, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because you've got a guy who, to another club, he'd be a 4 or 5 corner.
Yeah, it comes back to the club.
It's sustained success is the best success you can have. And you look at all the successful clubs throughout it. Look at Dingley. I mean, they've had sustained success because people stick around and they're a part of the culture, and they fight, they flow. It all continues on, and people want to be there in a winning culture.
Do you sort of benchmark yourself off that that Dingley juggernaut that won all those flags and the culture that they had, that they'd built under Morwood. Do you sort of use that as a bit of, I guess, an influence to sort of build something similar at East Malvern and create a dynasty of success moving forward?
100%. I mean, look, you can't go anything apart from that. I mean, I've come from a country club as well where, you know, there was under 19s and there was huge numbers and people stick around. So, you know, when I first came here, there was a lot of in and out. The influx and outflux each year was dramatic, and you've got to minimise that. Like, you know, again, this year we lost a couple of players, and one of them obviously being Ryan Mullet was a huge loss. But to lose 2 players as opposed to previous years where you lose 10, you know, that's a huge thing to keep the core group of players together because you can build on what you've already done and all the plans and structures you've put in place.
Like, as you were coaching a team this year, obviously the interleague team should have won that game, so you obviously did a pretty good job. It was somebody else's fault that we lost that game, but we won't give. It wasn't yours. That's all that matters. Your coaching styles, mate, because you're from the old school. Let's be honest, and you would have copped a spray or 2 back in your day. How much are you looking at that now, reassessing your coaching style and going, well, okay, I can't necessarily do that, or does that still hold its weight?
Oh, no, 100%. Like, I sort of lost the passion towards the end, but my issue was actually controlling myself game day. I need to be locked in a pen because I'd get a little bit out of control. During the week I could control myself and thought it was quite measured, but game day became a struggle for me, so I sort of lost the enjoyment in game day.
Bit of a target for the behavioural awareness officers you've got patrolling Marvel.
Was quite good. I think I coached for about 12 years in the Southern. I think I only ever got 1 tap on the shoulder from Gary Crenny, so it wasn't too bad, but I probably dodged a few bullets because I probably didn't behave myself as I should have some weeks, but that's the hardest thing to do, is manage expectations and especially being an older guy coming from the old school, managing your temper, I suppose.
Yeah.
But Robbo does it really well.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear, and that would have been my next question. Mate, we got to let you go. You can see the boys starting to field out of the room now. They've just read out the 2 teams. There's been a few.
Hopefully, Chris hasn't gone about changing a few magnets without my knowledge. He has a tendency to do occasionally, so...
Mate, we do wish you all the best for the rest of the season.
Cheers, boys.
I mean, let's not look too far past this weekend because it's a big game for you and your club. Obviously, you need to get the win, get the chocolates, and get back up into this change room, mate, into this club room, and enjoy a really good night out with your teammates, your club, and celebrate the history of this football club. How important is that going to be for you?
Oh, it's huge, you know, like as I said on the track earlier to the boys, you know, 100 years of a footy club is a long time. There's a lot of history, and although a lot of guys haven't been here for long periods of time, pay respect to that because, you know, there's a lot of people before them that have done a lot of good things for the footy club, and we owe a bit to them. So that's about this week. You know, not only is it a huge game for us in perspective of the ladder, but also for the footy club as a general whole. So.
You expecting a big turnout on Saturday night?
I hope so. Well, I think they've sold 150 tickets, so I don't think they can fit any more than 200, and they're trying to sell the remaining few. So it'll be a packed house, and obviously with the team of the century getting announced, it'll be a really good night.
And there are going to be a few beers drunk over that bar, and I know a couple of the guys, and you know a couple of the guys that are coming down to. Who are some of the names that you...
Trent Houghton will have 1,000.
Yep.
Old mate Coach here will go okay. Robbo goes okay at it. And look, a few of the current president Stumpy, who's coming back from Russia, I think, on the day. So
yeah, he'll be make a mess of himself.
He'll be asleep by about 9 o'clock, right in the middle of the room, as he does.
Well, Robbo, we do wish you all the very best with the rest of the season, and obviously no Division 1 premierships for this football club. That would be absolutely on your charter, mate. You'd be looking to knock that off in the next, if not this year, next year. You've been close, you've been right there. But we at GameFace just want to wish you all the best, mate. Thanks for joining us on the panel. Thanks very much.
Cheers, boys. Really appreciate it.
We'll take a break and be back very shortly. Plenty to get through still on the SFNL Division 1 footy show for GameFace. See you in a minute.
Hey guys, Plugger from GameFace here. GameFace is really excited to introduce our new official apparel partner for 2019 and 2020, Swiv's Locker.
Yeah, Plugger, we've got a whole range of winter warmers, jackets, hoodies, polo shirts, puffer vests, long sleeve tees, the whole works. Get your game face on.
We are highly competitive in all areas of banking activity. We've given back over $1,350,000 to community organisations.
We give 80% of our profits back to the community.
So why don't you come and join us, and together let's make a difference.
What, how, why, who? It all begins with you.
My name is Ross McFarlane and I'm the Speaker for JLF Corporation's 7 Steps program. 7-Step program is basically built on taking your time to build a portfolio of properties with a focus on cash flow and compound growth. So what we're looking for is really anyone over 18 that wants to educate themselves, so when they're ready to go ahead, they've already got the knowledge there.
MelSafe is a leading provider of certification, audit and compliance services, specialising in safety, quality, environmental and chain of custody standards. We offer a professional service that provides you with assurance that your processes comply with relevant requirements. Visit our website to see how we can help you meet or maintain best practice for your compliance or certification needs.
Hey guys, Plugger from GameFace here. GameFace is really excited to introduce our new official apparel partner for 2019 and 2020, Swiv's Locker.
Yeah, Plugger, we've got a whole range of winter warmers, jackets, hoodies, polo shirts, puffer vests, long sleeve tees, the whole works. Get your GameFace on.
We are highly competitive in all areas of banking activity. We've given back over $1,350,000 to community organisations.
We give 80% of our profits back to the community.
So why don't you come and join us, and together let's make a difference.
What, how, why, who? It all begins with you.
DW Reserve here in East Melbourne. We are doing it live for the Southern Football Netball League for the very first time, Division 1, a live stream show. It is absolutely magnificent down here in East Melbourne. They've got the brand new club rooms here. You'd know very well, Lockers, you were here a while ago. They weren't the best the club rooms before this, and they've upgraded. How good is this?
This is absolutely magnificent. Upstairs has always been okay. Downstairs was nothing short of very, very average a few years ago. So
ordinary.
No, it's very good now. So yeah,
well, they've got
great conditions
nice
to play in.
Yeah, nice kitchen set up over there. The ground's good, and it's a great view from here too. If
Unreal.
you're not doing anything and you live in the East Melbourne area, why don't you get down to this DW Lucas Reserve and watch a game or two, because you can prop yourself up here. You can get one of these from the bar over there and watch a great game of football from some pretty fantastic seats, I would have thought.
The window is pretty much just over the boundary fence, so you have got the best seats in the house.
That's
absolutely
right.
We've been talking about Morty Alex facilities over the last sort of 6 to 12 months and how good they are. I reckon this just about pips it.
Yeah.
This is a tremendous setup, and well done to all the guys who put a fair bit of work in behind the scenes to get this up and going. It is marvellous.
Yeah, fantastic.
It's a great vibe down here at the moment. The East Melbourne Football Club obviously celebrating 100 years of playing football. They haven't yet got a Division 1 premiership. They're working very hard on that. We've interviewed some of their captains, some of their the co-captains and the playing coach. We've interviewed him. We've talked about how they're going to go this weekend. Hopefully they can get themselves a bit of a win. And we'll talk about that now as we move into the ladder, see where everyone's placed as we speak. Have a look there. We can see Dingley sitting nicely on top after 8 rounds of football. They're 6 wins, 2 losses. St Paul's 6-2 as well. They're the ones that are sort of leading the way. Cheltenham probably a little bit disappointed with their weekend result. They thought they would be a premiership contending team this year, and they certainly are. They've by no means lost it. They've got a few injuries there, boys. The rest of the teams there, Bentley, East Melbourne, Port Melbourne, and down the bottom we see Highton and Oakley districts rounding it out. Anything sticking out to you there, boys? Who can be a big prime mover as we move into the second half of the season? Who's probably got it one in your mind?
No one's really got it one in my mind. It's a pretty open race. Bentley 5-3 probably exceeded my expectations, but I think their percentage of 88.85 will probably come back to haunt them in the end, I think.
That could be an issue. You just look at points for. You've got Dingley on 685, and then you've actually got East Melbourne on 690. So come finals are going to be at Moorabbin, big ground, scoring. You've got to kick more than the opposition to win, Robbo, as you know. So always good to have lots in the 4 column. Then, you work on your defence as the year goes. So, yeah, it's the percentage interesting because you've still got Sheldon 143, Dingley 134. So then down to East Malvern and St Paul still around the 120. So they're winning by a lot when they win. So yeah, it'll be interesting the second half of the year, no doubt.
And of course, at the other end of the ladder, Robbo, Oakley District and Hyatt, the only two in sort of the battle for relegation. At the moment, split by just 2%, so that'll be a tight one.
Who do you think that will be out of the two? I mean, let's make this interesting for a second because they don't want to go back. They want to stay up. Who's probably the better side?
Hard to get a gauge on both of them. I think if Hyatt can't get a few of their players back, they're probably in the box seat, but really that's a toss of the coin at this stage.
Injuries take a toll on your side as we look over and see live on this massive screen over here that they've got in the East Malvern Club rooms now a drop-down screen, Essendon taking on West Coast. Essendon ahead at the moment over there in the West. Looks like a bit of a wet game over there. Anyway, we're going to move on to the Division 1 Team of the Week. From last week, of course. We do this every single time we front up on the GameFace Footy Show. For each division, this is Division 1. I'm not sure who put it together. Did you put it together, boys? Together?
I just gave Will a couple of pointers this week, but it was mainly Will's doing this week,
Well,
so we'll let him kick it off, I reckon.
There's no doubt that it would be spot on because this guy is an absolute rain man when it comes to every footballer that plays in the Southern Football Netball League. Will, go for your life, mate.
Well, Liam Ryan's nearly just kicked a sparkling goal, but he's just kicked it backwards.
How good is he to watch?
Oh, he's an absolute star. Absolute star.
Love him.
And as a Collingwood supporter, that really pains me. But he's a star. Don't worry about that. Okay, so the Division 1 Team of the Week.
And as a Collingwood supporter, gamble responsibly. Anyway, moving on.
Do you have to throw that in, mate?
Well done, well done.
This is why people watch this show for the Division 1 Team of the Week, brought to you by Bendigo Bank. So in the back line, Reece Pete from St Paul's had a pretty good game on the weekend, got a fair bit of the footy. Mark Lonigan from East Malvern, of course, and Matt Morwood from Dingley.
Half-backs, Jack Worrell, captain of Chelt. Sam Hayes, very good year, the young fellow at centre half-back. And Kieran Knox, who's been a regular this year on the half-back flank from St Paul's.
That's an outstanding half-back line in the centre line. Jake Bowie, the 16-year-old from Hyatt, impressive debut. Danny Aids in the guts, kicked 4 goals on the weekend. And, of course, Lucas Wamsley from Dingley as well. Just continues to get it done week in, week out, Lockers.
Yeah, half-forward line, Matty Kremborg, 2-time Alice medalist. Harry Hunt, who's been in sensational form for St Paul's in the last month of footy. And Jed Lamb from Bentley, kicked 6 goals on the weekend. It was a bit of a lone hand up forward for them. Is his last game in Southern footy this week too. He goes up to the Bendigo League after Saturday, so he'll be looking for a big performance here on Saturday against East Malvern.
Absolutely. The GameFace Live match of the day as well, so looking forward to that. I reckon Harry Hunt and Mackenzie Bristow, they've been the only two we've had in that centre half forward position. They are absolutely outstanding. In the forward line, Sean Chaseling from East Malvern, Jake Mullen from Oakley District, and Ed Green in the pocket from St Kilda City with his 6 snaggeroonies.
Absolutely. In the ruck, Mitch Smart from Bentley, obviously coming up against Chris Carey this week, so that'll be a pivotal duel in the result for this week. Aaron Purvis back from a little hiatus. Not sure where he went, but he was back and played really well for St Kilda City on the weekend. And actually, probably, I'll say this now, I'll say it early, Paul Fry from East Malvern, I'll say now he's the favourite to win the Alice medal. He's got that blonde hair up top that he dyes religiously, I think, each week, catches votes. I think he's come second in a couple of Golden Valley League medals, so he's got that ability to catch a vote. So I'd actually say he's the early favourite. He's in the best each week for East Malvern.
A problem I think that Paul Fry's got in that space is the bloke giving it to him all the time. In the ruckman, Chris Carey, silver service, the most outstanding big man in the game. Might pinch a couple of votes off him, but really that 1-2 combination, best in the comp, Daylight second. And rounding off the bench, Sam Lewin, he's been unlucky as a centre-half forward, been playing some very, very good footy, but we've had some absolute stars take that position on the field. So he's been pretty much resigned to the bench for the last couple of weeks. Jack Hammond, we had him on the show earlier. Isn't he an impressive young man?
Great man.
From East Malvern.
He's okay.
He's
okay.
Jimmy Zilla from St Paul's.
You can tell he knows him.
You haven't been out with him.
Do I want to?
No.
Righto. Jimmy Zilla from St Paul's and Virgim Fayek from Dingley, the new ruckman that they pinched from Noble Park.
Who?
Virgim Fayek.
Well said. Beautifully said. Beautifully put together. That is the Division 1 Team of the Week. We've got a round of football coming your way very, very shortly. Geez, the time flies. We're halfway through the year. Football just rolls around quickly. You've got to get your body right for Saturday's game. I don't have to because my body's no good. Brought to you by Melsafe. You boys, a bit of a tipping battle going on between these two, and we'll highlight that in a second. The first game there, East Melbourne versus Bentley. 5th plays 4th. It's going to be a corker.
And we'll be here covering that live for GameFace on the weekend, so really looking forward to this one. I really like East Melbourne. I've been hot on them from the start. I still think that they're good things. Got a fair bit of competition for, the premiership, but I think they've got enough to, get the chocolates over Bentley this week.
Yep, I want a free ticket for Saturday night, so I'm saying East Melbourne.
Nicely done.
I'll be honest.
Surely.
You couldn't tip Bentley here when we're in the salubrious surrounds of Lucas Reserve.
In all seriousness, I think East Melbourne, they have to win, so they'll win this week.
Yep.
And the new jumpers they're going to wear on the weekend that Robbo's modelling nicely.
Sporting right
Spectacular.
now. Not sure about the long sleeve, but anyway.
Yeah, you've made your thoughts on that abundantly clear.
Anyway, we'll move on. Cheltenham, they're 3rd at the moment. Disappointed on the weekend's result, I'm sure, just gone by. They'll be taking on Oakley Districts 9th. I fear for Oakley Districts, to be honest with you. Cheltenham will be pretty keen to atone.
Yeah, I think so.
They will do. They will do well too. This is a sign of good play. It's actually a big test for them this week. Past history would suggest Cheltenham have a bit of a letdown like they did last week. They can fall over again. They've had a history of doing it, but I just think this is the new rebooted, reinvigorated Chelt. They'll prove where they're at this week.
Will McTaggart missed the second half last week. Hit the showers early. Had a bit of a tight back, and they didn't want to risk him. Not sure they may rest him. Not sure what's going to happen at the selection table, but he's not going to miss too much footy. He might even be back this week. So,
Good play.
Great to see he's done some damage there. But yeah, they'll be too good for Oakley District.
High 10th, taking on St Paul's 2nd. This could be a riot.
Yep.
On
the field or off the field?
I'm going to go to you every time, Will, so you can answer straight away first, and then you can hand it over. But yeah, both probably.
I don't want to be too critical on either side, but St Paul's will win this very, very easily.
It'll be very interesting off the ground this week. We'll leave it there.
I'm not going. I'll leave that one well alone.
You didn't give a tip, though.
St Paul's will win. Too many injuries for Height. In all seriousness, they've got too many injuries.
Yep.
Can't cover.
Yep.
So, yeah, it'll be St Paul's.
And look, we are a bit harsh on Hyde at the moment. They are suffering from injuries and a couple of players that left the club that will probably be handy this year. We'll move on to the next game. Morty Alex 7th. They'll be taking on Port Melbourne at home. 7th plays 6th. This could be an interesting game.
It'll be very, very interesting. I've been pretty big on the Colts as well. Obviously no DeLuca this week as well. That hurts them. Morty Alex form hasn't been the greatest, but I think their home ground will probably suit them a lot more than Port Colts that have a tendency to play some really good footy on their really small ground. So it's purely the home ground advantage that I'm tipping Morty Alec in this one.
This is Port Colts' year, this game. So they lose this week. Everyone's going to start saying it's the same old Port Colts. Second half of the year, they drop away. So
for that reason,
I'll pick them this week. They have to respond.
Backs against the wall.
Wouldn't be surprised if their coach, one Lindsay Gilby, actually has a run around in the seniors this week.
Really? Has he
Watch
played?
your space. He's played in the twos the last couple of weeks. So maybe just making sure that the joints are well oiled and he may be in. So don't know anything.
Kicking some darts around the footy ground.
He can kick the footy, you know that. So that's one thing he wouldn't have lost his ability to kick the footy. So yeah, Port Colts have to win, to be honest.
He could kick it from one end of the ground to the other at JL Murphy.
JL Murphy could, not at Morty Alec. It's massive.
I mean, we know his football ability, but I will sing the praises of one Lindsay Gilby. He's one of the top blokes of football. I got to room with him when I played in the Irish Tour, Australia versus Ireland, and never knew him. Walked in, we roomed together, just hit it off. Absolute ripping bloke. Made me laugh constantly for 3 or 4 days.
I've heard he is one of the funniest men alive.
He's an absolute ripper. We were doing the whole wide world, the old Richie Beno, the 12th man stuff. We had that on repeat. Laughing. Yes, it was absolutely brilliant. We'll move on to the last game. Dingley versus St Kilda City. You would have thought Dingley sitting on top of the ladder will have it over St Kilda City.
Yeah, I think so too. The Suter Oval's obviously a tough place to play footy for any side in front of the cage there, which is fantastic. A reinvigorated St Kilda City, as we saw from their last week's results. They're looking reinvigorated, as I said, but I think Dingley will be too strong.
All right, you think of the same way?
I'll say Dingley, but I will say this is an absolute danger game for Dingley. My mail is they weren't terrific last week. They weren't wrapped with the way they played. So St Kilda City, if they can stick with them long enough, might be just in the game, but I'll still say Dingley.
All right, as we look up at the screens, we can see a close game there over in the West Coast Eagles 22 to Essendon 24. I'm sure you're checking that out as you're watching this on Facebook, as we live stream this for the first time for the Southern Football Netball League.
Very exciting, Robbo.
It is absolutely exciting, and we are, of course, the I nearly said it, East Malvern Footy Club. Their brand new club rooms looking really good. Now, you two have got a little bit of a bet going on, and it is over alcohol. It's over a carton. Is it a carton? Or
It's a six-pack each week.
It's a six-pack. So let's flash this graphic up to show what you boys... have we got the graphic of this going up? I'm not sure.
Yeah,
we
we'll
can
have it up.
see the two bonces there. One's more rounded than the other. One's more grey than the other. You can see where you blokes have picked this week. There's only one game difference there, and that is the Morty Alec Port Melbourne Colts game. So we might get a result there. As we move on to the leaderboard for you two boys, and we can see that it's you, Will, that has...
I have one six-pack.
Won the six-pack.
Since we started a couple of weeks ago, I've got one six-pack. Last week was a tie.
It was a tie
course.
last week.
So I'm one six-pack ahead.
We are definitely going to get a result this week, though.
Coming good.
You're coming good, right? We need to. You don't want to go
No.
2 six-packs down.
No,
mate.
that's
Don't want to be
getting
playing your
expensive.
best. Don't want to be playing your best footy at round 9 lockers.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
And that was brought to you, of course, by MelSafe. That will be a round of football that we'll be watching this weekend. We are here, and it's been absolutely fantastic in the East Malvern Football Club. Brand new club rooms here, and it has to be said, one more time, they've done a magnificent job of doing up this place because it was horribly overdue.
It was. It absolutely was.
And the boys are absolutely loving it. You can see some of the guys over there just having a bit of a chat. They're probably talking about the game this weekend and how they're going to take apart Bentley. Is it Bentley?
Yep, it's Bentley.
We talk so much football on the GameFace Footy Show tonight. I've probably forgotten that. But yeah, it's a massive game for them because they'll be in here in these club rooms just directly after that, celebrating their 100th year. It's a pretty amazing achievement for any football club anywhere to get 100 years to last, especially nowadays in the business of football, the harsh business of football. You've seen it. You're at the coalface of football clubs. The business, you rely on money, but you also rely on the volunteers, and we've seen some of them tonight.
Oh, absolutely. Volunteers, the lifeline of any local footy club, and like all clubs, East Malvern have great volunteers, and you hope they're the main guys that really enjoy Saturday night and celebrate it. 100 years is a huge effort, so yeah, fantastic result.
And Will, you'll be here live streaming for
sure will be.
GameFace in the truck, talking about this game, picking it apart. You can watch that, you can tune in, and you can tune in more specifically if you download the GameFace app. That's in the Google App Store. You can get that done in the on iTunes, I'm sure. Is
Google
it
Play as well,
Google
if you've got
Play,
a...
the App Store, the young
Android.
kids, they know how to do that. I don't even need to talk about it.
Actually, you know what, Robbo? I reckon we might leave the van at home and we might park ourselves up here. Call the footy from up here.
Mad if you don't, because this is one of the great views in football.
If you haven't been down here, ladies and gentlemen, get down here and check out this salubrious surrounds of Lucas Reserve. It is phenomenal.
Yep. All right. Well, good luck to you this weekend, Will. Call a good game, mate. We'll be tuning in and listening, and I'll be giving you some feedback.
Thanks, mate. Constructive, of course, not get off the hot dogs or something like that.
Constructive and positive.
And Lockwood, where are you going to be this weekend, my friend?
I'll be here, and I've just got to make sure I clear it with the boss that I can be here for the game and then stay through the night.
We'll
see how we go.
Oh, good
We'll
luck
have to
you,
hose him out.
Get out.
Yeah,
Get away from the bar.
I'll get kicked out. Yeah.
You and Trent Houghton by the
Oh
bar
no,
over
I'm
there.
not. There's no. I've learnt that lesson playing against him. Drinking with him is the most dangerous thing I've ever done in my life.
I'd rather play
Can you
on him.
introduce me on Saturday?
I will. Yep, he'll be here.
Make sure you tune in for the big game this Saturday, East Malvern versus Bentley from 2 p.m. We are live streaming that for the GameFace app and also on Facebook. It's an absolute pleasure to bring you the GameFace Footy Show for the Southern Football Netball League Division 1. We'll be back, as always, next week to talk about this round of football. Love joining you blokes on a panel. It's one of the great joys of my life, to sit down and talk football. And
I know you mean that too.
Absolutely.
From the bottom of his heart.
From the bottom of my heart. Good on you for joining us and tuning in. We'll see you next week.